So this is Trig lesson number 3 in geometry. What we're going to do today is start to use the trig ratio, SO, CA, TOA, in order to solve for missing sides. So remember, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is CA, adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is TOA, opposite over adjacent. Before we start, we need to make sure our calculator settings are good to go. What we're going to do is press mode. Make sure that we float to 4. Basically, that means right here, means we're going to have our calculator round to the 4th decimal place for us. And then we're going to change it to degree mode because we're going to be using angles, which are measured in degrees. So we're going to hit mode. Then we're going to go down to float and over to 4. Hit enter. Then go down and over to degree, hit enter. Then you can hit second quit and you should be good to go. What happens is it's going to give you 4 decimal places regardless. So for example, 18 divided by 2, you guys know that's 9, but it's going to say 9.00000. It's the same thing. All right. So if you practice or kind of type some of these things in, this is just showing you that each of these has a specific value. So the sine of 60, for example, sine is this key right here. Sine of 60 is 0.8660. The cosine of 60 is a different value. The cosine of 60 is 0.5, 0.5. And then the tangent of 60 is 1.7321. You can fill these in. There will be some interesting relationships. But again, this is basically saying that if you have 2 sides, the opposite divided by the adjacent side, the opposite divided by the adjacent for this one, is going to equal 1.732 if you are coming from a 60-degree angle, okay? This seems all very confusing, but I can explain it more in class, but this is just how you do it. You type in the numbers, hit enter, and it'll give you the ratio of those 2 side lengths. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that to solve for some missing angles. So the first thing we're going to do is not actually find the missing angle. The first thing we're going to do is circle the angle we are given. So we are given B. I'm going to change that. Circle the angle you're given. From there, label your sides. What I mean by that is, if you throw a rock, if you're standing at B and you throw a rock, this is where you're going to hit your op. Your op would be standing there if you were going to hit them. This is your 90-degree angle, so that means this is your height, and this has to be the adjacent, okay? Now, third, we can find the missing angle. So third, find missing angle. One thing students sometimes forget is that a triangle equals 180 degrees. So if we already have 90, subtract 90, and you get 90. Then subtract 43, and you get 47. So this angle, angle A, is 47 degrees. Now AC, that is your opposite side. And the problem is we need to have another side to work with. So step 4, this is the hardest step. You need to choose your ratio. In order to choose your ratio, what you're going to do is ask yourself, what do you want? And what do you have? So in this example, for AC, we want the op. The side we are given, or what we have, is 14. That's our height. So if we're looking at O and H, these are our trig ratios. So, ka, toa. O and H is right here. We're going to use sine, O and H. So we're going to say sine of the angle we were given is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse is 14. So now what we do is we solve for the opposite. So we're going to multiply by 14, multiply by 14. And when we type in, chunga chunga, when we type in 14 sine of 43, that's going to give us our opposite side, which is AC. 14 sine of 43. $9.5480. This side is 9.5480. Now you guys have two options. You need to find the third side. You could use the Pythagorean theorem, or you could use another trig ratio. So the fifth step was to use the ratio to find the side. And the sixth step is find the other side. You have two options. You can use trig or Pythagorean theorem because they're right triangles. I'm going to use trig because to me it's easier. So for this one, what we want is the adjacent, and what we have is the hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse is this one right here. Sorry, that was our first one. The second one is adjacent and hypotenuse, so we're using cosine. So now we have cosine of 43, the angle we are given, is equal to CB or BC, which is our adjacent, over the hypotenuse is 14. So again, multiply by 14 on both sides. Chunga chunga. 14 cosine of 43 will equal BC. $10.2390. You don't have to label the triangle too. That's a lot. You just have to put it on the blank space so that somewhere these three things show up: the missing angle and the two missing sides. All right, so first thing we do is circle the angle we are given. Okay, then we're going to label our sides. This is our op. Since that's 90, this is our height. This must be our adjacent. To find the other angle, we're going to do 180 minus 90 is 90. 90 minus 35 is 55 degrees. So angle B is 55 degrees. All right. AB is called height. So this is the hard part. We want and we have. We want the height. We have this one, 15, the opposite. So H and O, so ka, toa. H and O is this one. You've got to use sine. So we're going to say, sine of the angle we were given is equal to the opposite